Well, the question of resistance of materials puts me actually to my belief in art instead of crisis. That's of course because this question confronts me also with the time we are facing at the moment of quarantine and this virus and the pandemic, of course, which is also a material question. So I think that art always has to be faster than any limitation or resistance of materials that we are confronted with generally, and not only since COVID-19, of course. So I consider this time as a chance and not as a catastrophe, even though it might be tough to keep up hope in this, let's call it political tragic comedy that is being played globally. And this question of resistance of materials also make me think of invisible and immaterial resistance, which I think, looking at our history, can even be the stronger enemy. And especially also looking at the digital world, which confronts us with new questions in our everyday life, in our political life, in our social life, in our artistic life. So I think it is even harder to overcome these kind of enemies, even though they have been there all over our lives. So they are not new and they are not subject to Corona. Only Corona finally made it more clear that we have been, let's call it, at a global peak of environmental, social and political horror. And the fact of denying that or closing our eyes is the saddest example for strong resistance of materials. It's about the will to see or not to see. Yet, this question is very interesting because it also reminds me of a passion to overcome boundaries and to use art to break through the walls, let's say. So now we are also confronted with the question in what kind of world we would like to live in. And that is also a question of what material this world consists of and how we behave in this material or immaterial world. And that also means how much digitalization, how much digital being we are able to take to live, and how much of our physical and how much of our physical being we are willing to give up, let's say. That means will we dissolve into digital beings or will we rebel? And that's actually what interests me. So I try to fight and to still make analog and live art. And of course, at the moment, you have to consider the given hygienic security requirements. But in the end, with a very clear statement that art is the most resistant material of all. And that's actually the point I would like to make in this short talk. So to try to find a way to transform the resistance of material into artistic willpower. And I think art is the best medium actually in an unhealthy world, because it can be hope and it can be the best weapon. And at the same time, art is also fluid. It can change its materialization. And therefore, it can be actually the fastest and the most direct tool, which is its power. And that also means that art is willpower. And in that sense, we need to be resistant, I think. And that means, or to conclude, I think we always have to remain faster and keep up, especially with the humor, and stay open for diverse perspectives on our surrounding material and immaterial world. So meaning that we have to not be confronted with the resistance of material, but we have to be the resistant ones in order to be faster than the boundaries we are confronted with.